I've been working on this for some time. We did a little preface last week, and we're going to get into it tonight, and I hope we can do this in our allotted time. The reason that I'm doing this is one, and well, maybe it's two. We're going to try to help people build things. And I hear a lot of guys say, oh, we can't find parts. So yes, you can. And we're going to show you within the next 10, 12 minutes exactly where to get them, what they are, and we're going to build it and make it happen. And the reason I'm doing it on pine board is so you can see the circuitry. It draws it out just like the schematic. And what we're going to start with is going to be a single tube transmitter. Yeah, it's QRP, but it's going to be tube on 75 meters, could be on 40. We'll show you how that happens many shows down the line. But you can make this thing work. You can do this. And here's the schematic of, first of all, the power supply. You have to understand that we're making these in like modules. And the modules, let me get this up here. The modules, instead of being built on metal, we're going to do it on pine board. It's a lot easier. It's the way we did it years ago. And there you are as to what's going to happen. We've got the transformer, the tube 6X5, and of course you have to have filter caps, and then the filament transformer, the windings are on the transformer. There's the listing. I would advise everybody to take some screenshots of this or get out your cell phone. I'll bring this back after a little bit so you can get these addresses, because there's all the parts right there. If Antique Electronics, they're amazing. Tubesandmore.com. They have everything. It really solves this problem. Everybody's, oh, we can't find parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up so all of the pieces and parts are made progressively easy to mount. I do it with wood screw. See, that's the situation. And here it is, finished. And only two things missing. The transformer's not there, and the octal base. And I did that because you can see it easier. And we're going to come in here with 110 volts from the line. And then this is the switch that turns that on and off. The transformer connects here. The secondary that's feeding a lot of power. The primary that's 110 volts go here. I'll get that right. After you have 110 volts into the primary of that transformer, now we come out of here and we've got about 300 volts. So you have to be very careful. These red lines are red for a reason. On that same transformer winding, they have 6.3 volts, which is the filament. That goes over here to the octal socket, and pins 2 and 7 are the filaments of that tube. We also bring it out here because this is the terminal strip that we will connect to the next procedure, which will be the mic preamp. Then we're going to build another module that will be the transmitter. And all of the power is taken from that strip. There'll be 150 volts after we get through the filtering. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And that's all there is to it. It is very simple. Very simple. Now, one of the things that we have to pay attention to is when we come out of the rectifier, things get a little crazy. They're not real clean and clear as far as the DC as it comes out of the 6X5. That comes off of pin 8. And what you want to do here is filter it. So we come here, we put a capacitor, and bingo, you got it. You're ready to go. Then we take that. It's not filtered very well at that point, and we need to drop that voltage down a little bit, filter it again. And we're not quite sure how this will come up. We'll have to see once we get the transmitter and see how much current we draw. We might end up with a filter system that look like that. We have room on the board. I planned for it. But this is what happens when we leave the rectifier. And we'll end up then with a very clean, hopefully 100 and maybe 20, 30 volts for the 12AU7. And that's how that all goes together. Now, one thing I want to warn you about, and I mean, we're going to talk about this a lot. We are dealing with 300 volts coming out of that rectifier. And because of what we just saw there with all of the filtering and the resistor series, we'll get it down to hopefully around 120, 130 volts so we don't burn up and blow up the 12AU7. Danger. It's high voltage, everybody, and you have to pay attention. This is not 12 volts. We're going to point that out here in just a minute. But I think that the best thing that all of you can do is follow the procedures as we go through this each week. And what we're going to end up with are the pine boards. Let me show you what I did here. I started off with just a plain old piece of board. And then I took some, it's just a sealer type thing, and jazzed it up a little bit. That's not a big problem. You don't have to do that, but I did that with the walnut finish, and that was done with a paper towel. Dipped it in there, rubbed it onto there, let it dry. Bingo, we're there. Next, you have to punch all the holes, and that's done. You can take a copy of this if you want, but this is how it all stands out when we get that board finished. These are the holes for the transformer. Those are the mounting holes for the X6X5. These are the holes for the terminal strips. And there's then the other terminal strip on the output that we can take those 4 lines to the other pine board. They're there. And that works out well. You can kind of lay it out ahead of time. When you get all done with it, here's what we got. Now, I'm really happy with this. It turned out really good. Uses a 6X5. Why did I use a 6X5? Because other rectifiers use 5 volts of filament. And this rectifier uses the same 6 volts that feeds the rest of the filament chain. It really works out great. 6X5s. Not good for a whole lot of current, but we're not going to be drawing a lot of current in this project. But there again, I showed you the pin outs. There's the transformer mountings. There's the one screw strip. Here's the terminal strip on the ground side. The capacitors are grounded over there. And then this is one of the resistor functions. We got room to put others in here. This is the ground. All of this is ground. That comes out here and goes over here and feeds the terminal strip. That's ground there. That is the B+. And the other thing I did, and you can do this, you don't have to, but I did, I put a pilot light on it. Okay, so we got it. Big deal, Heil. So what? Well, let me go down here. And let's get the camera on this little puppy. And I go over here and push the button. Aha! We got something happening. Look at the tube. You see, there's something about, maybe there's something wrong with me, but the magic of watching these tubes light up and emit electrons, we need to, maybe George and I should put a show together. Or George, you can do that for sure. Let everybody knows how that tube works. What's the big deal? Well, here's the deal. Now, be careful. I told you about this. In fact, I want to put this up here, and we're going to definitely talk about this, the old high voltage. I'm telling you, right now, we're dealing with 300 volts because I don't have all of the filtering. We won't have that till I know what the exact there we go. What the exact current draw is going to be. Okay, now let me show you what's happening over here. Let's put this guy over here. See if we can zero in on all of it for you. There's my Simpson 260. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the minus. It's on a 250 volt DC. We're going to put that on ground. And we're going to put that. Look at that. We got, how about that? Perfect. 200 volts. Cool. And we're ready to go. I'm going to turn it off. Uh-oh, I turned it off. Look at that meter. Look at that. What's happening to that meter? I turned it off. Where's that voltage coming from? I told you, this is a dangerous situation. And what you have to do is pay attention. That can even be unplugged. And it's still going to have voltage. And it's going to happen with these capacitors. That's what they do. Capacitors filter the line. Well, I got the greatest idea. I mean, the greatest idea from one of our great chat room guys, Chip K9MIT. And what he did this in his work, I understand, some years ago. And he built, and I call it the chip stick. I did this from a paint stick that I got at Lowe's. And you go here. See, this is what's wonderful about homebrewing. You can do it your own way, but I got a piece of copper wire, and it's not going anywhere, but it's just shorting. Stick it. We got to use caution on this thing. And if I take that and short the ground. Did you hear that? If you didn't, we're going to do it again. I mean, these are serious things, everybody. Serious things. Because when I turn this power supply off, let's show you what we're talking about, what's going to happen. This is the ground right here, that ground wire. That has the voltage to it. That's what we figured, 200 and some volts. So between these two, we have it. Well, let's turn this up. Not only that, to prove to you, there's the plug. It's not even plugged in, but we still got voltage. So what do? You take the old chipstick. I mean, this is going to be one of the most handy tools you have because it will save your life. And I take it from ground. Now listen, listen, this is going to spark and arc and do everything else. Turn it over here so you might be able to see it. Do it here. Okay, here we go. Did you hear that? You see that? Now, did it again. You got to do it a couple of times. Now let's go back and let's hook up our meter just to prove to you that we don't have any more voltage. Maybe we will. Let's see. Because I'm telling you, you can have, we got about a half a volt. But do not let this deter you. I don't want to have the flames from all you guys. This is dangerous. Come on, I've been doing this for 60 years. You just have to be aware. I mean, I deal with power supplies that are 3,000 volts. And so you just have to be careful. And what you want to do, man, is you want to build you a chipstick. Yes, you do. And Chip, man, I thank you. He sends a lot of cool ideas my way. But I want to put this back up one more time about where you should be spending a little bit of time. Send in, get these guys' catalog, order the parts. There you are. That's the whole parts list of everything that you're going to need to make all of these things happen. This power supply will drive a lot of different things. We're going to do other things too. Now we have the power supply. We can build all kinds of stuff. But this is most important, the power transformer. And then it's a PT 261 G6. It's very important. It's a center tapped transformer. We'll get into that later too as we get through it. A couple of filter caps, 20 mics at 450, and a couple of resistors. These might change a little bit. It'll get you going, and then you're going to need the other filter caps. I have a 47 mic at 500 volts. That way I've got 4 of them we can play around as once we get going. You might want a fuse holder, a power switch. You definitely want to do that. Now, vacuum tubes I get from Mike. He's really good. WB0SND, a good old AM buddy. He's got a great company. It's called vacuumtubes.com. That's what you want to do is get the rectifier, 6X5, 12AU7, and a pair of 12AX7s. One of the neatest things that we have, and I dropped it on the floor a while ago, that we found, and I found this in Orlando, is the octal socket for the rectifier. You can buy all kinds of sockets, but man, this baby is ceramic. I really love it. And is it going to be any better or something? No, but it's really a great socket, and it mounts good. You'll notice how it isn't made to mount on a regular chassis in a hole. It's made to mount on pine board. And that came from ASRCvacuumtubes.com. So there you go. I just have to tell you how much fun this has been putting this together the last couple of nights. I've been working on the project, as you well know, for some time. I've been talking about it. But I wanted to put it together, make it work, show you why some things work, why they don't, what we got to do. And basically, don't forget the chipstick, because you're playing with high voltage, okay? Don't let this run you away. You just have to be careful, that's all. And we're going to have fun. And this is going to end up being a QRP 75-meter AM transmitter, complete with a modulator, whole bit. It's going to be really fun. Then I think we might build a receiver. I don't know where we got the power supply now. We can do all kinds of stuff. So there you are. I hope you enjoy this. I know I go overboard because I love this hobby, and this is how I learned it. Building those kind of things 60 years ago in my Elmer, they were just great. I have great respect for them. I wish they were still here to see what happened to my career because of them teaching me this kind of stuff all those many years ago, 1956. So there you go.